be clear about your discernment between habitual mind and timeless awareness? Yeah, I mean, that is, of course, a profound pointing out, to be able to discern that, and we kind of separate them. But then ultimately, of course, there is no separation. It's actually where the union of samsara and nirvana, where the rubber hits the road, right there, really, right? It's not separate, but yes and no, from like this perspective of time where our bodies are, and our psychology, there is a bit of and we can experience that as a discernment. But when you pull up higher in the light, then there's absolutely no separation. And then, we become more explicit about bringing our psychology into timeless awareness, and just let the healing happen, right? Yeah, so we allow our mind to recede, the habitual mind. So let's do that. And I'm not asking you to slow it down, but there seems to be a tendency when we aim a little bit more for the Dharmakaya, for the openness, which some translate as source. I've had some pushback on source, but for now, I sometimes use that word, and we all know the word has a little bit of a limitation because it seems to be kind of a point from which everything comes, but there's an every-awareness, right? So the complete wide open essence in which everything arises, including our mind. But for now, let's really have the shining of timeless awareness come forth, no longer impeded, veiled by too much patterning, in which we can meet this text on the level it was written and recognize it as basically something we wrote. From the uniformity of this boundless awareness. Now the ego goes like, that's right, I wrote that. Not that. But there is something beautiful that we have in that aha moment, right? It's like there's the recognition. This is right. This is my potentiality resonating right now, and it becomes inspiring. So Semni Nelok Tokpa Jindi Lop the soul, please bless us that we may come to recognize the nature of mind, the natural state. And then we sit in the continuity of that recognition, simultaneous with the movement of the world, which in this case is this beautiful text. And in this translation of the Natural Freedom of Being, Longchenpa says, by wanting to reject conceptuality and contemplate the non-conceptual state of mind. Oh wait, I started a little too low. I was scrolled down, sorry. Erase. Let's take a breath. We'll get there. It's the third paragraph where I started. Yeah. So here Longchenpa starts with this section. In this regard, all the phenomena that constitute the world of cyclic existence and unconditional freedom are the magical display of bare awareness, just like last night's dream. So here he speaks about that meeting kind of also of samsara and nirvana, the world of cyclic existence and unconditional freedom. Yeah, so feel the just as you are-ness, your body, your energy, your boundless potentiality, Yeah, you feel it as a somatic resonance, and just knowing me in the world. It's not a thing, but it's quite something. And then open up to this unconditional freedom. Yeah. So maybe the psychology feels confined. This feeling maybe even of a personal identity feels confined. But it arises in this unconditional freedom, in which this yeshe, and the resulting siddhis, the wisdom energies, can much more freely resonate and put us in touch with our own boundless loving potentiality. I repeat, in this regard, all the phenomena that constitute the world of cyclic existence and unconditional freedom are the magical display of bare awareness, just like last night's dream. Since the real nature of bare awareness is the ultimate dimension of being. Since the real nature of bare awareness is in essence empty, it is the ultimate dimension of being. Yeah. So this real nature of bare awareness is in essence empty. And then we often like to translate it as open, right? Unobstructed. Room for infinite capacity. And then luminosity, right? It knows itself. And it knows the magical display. This effortless clarity, that's some nice words for empty. Now we're all been around the block here, but I still, even for myself, always have to translate empty a little, because my habitual patterns wish to feel it a little nihilistic, right? So empty, unconditioned, so it can hold everything. You feel it this essence, this openness holds your whole life. Its whole historic display. This timeless awareness holding it in time. And because it's empty of thingness, awareness can resonate, it can metabolize, it can reveal, it can display, it can heal, it can express lovingly and flow. So we become the flow, right? The healing flow of the world. By being this empty essence. I even have heard empty translated as self-existing freedom. So we could paraphrase it, since the real nature of bare awareness is a vast, unobstructed openness. It is the ultimate dimension of being, boundless, free, and capable of holding all experience. Okay, we'll hold that for a moment, or we allow that to resonate. Yeah? Undistracted. And he goes on, and because awareness is naturally luminous, It is the visionary dimension of being. Yeah. Yet dependent upon circumstance, it can appear in various ways as the manifest dimension of being. This present consciousness is the natural bare awareness which is naturally free upon arising. This very thing is the deep intentionality of those who are fully awakened, free of limitations, and completely boundless and open. Yeah, that last sentence, how freeing is that? This deep intentionality of those who are fully awakened, free of all limitations, and completely boundless and open. Yeah, you can feel the languaging, how important it is, right? We could have said free of all limitations and empty. So yeah. So by coming to this space, you immediately are the teacher, right? So we are just listening to this virtuosity of languaging, which then loosens our own languaging. Yeah. No begging, no waiting, no limiting beliefs. Sit up straight as the protector of innocence, and the beautiful languaging potentiality as the facilitator of self-liberation in all those around you. I bow to that healer on your seat. Thank you. So then Longchenpa continues. The teacher, Padmasambhava, has said the wisdom of awareness, which is open and clear, manifest in the appropriate way according to the circumstances. Yet it is the indeterminate, yes, it is indeterminate because it arises from itself and is released back into its own natural state, just like waves merging within the ocean. Conceptually, it is the radiance of the primordial ultimate dimension of being. There is no other sphere to contemplate. Just feel, because it arises from itself and it is released back into its own natural state, just like waves and the ocean. Yeah, just feel your openness and just feel all movement, even the subtle feeling of a personal identity and the energy body, yeah, like the soma, more so than just the body. Just expressing and falling back. Everything liberating upon arising. Just allow whatever, just don't hold too tight. Some thoughts, maybe no thought, but if thoughts, if feelings, if emotions. Allow them to release back into their own natural state, just like waves merging back within the ocean from which they had arisen. Here comes the next paragraph where he has a little bit of a warning. By wanting to reject conceptuality and contemplate the non-conceptual state of mind, the phenomenal world arises as an enemy, and people fall into mistaking this for freedom. Those practitioners who neither accept nor reject whatever arises in the mind are able to see the phenomenal world at the level of cosmic wholeness. And then cosmic wholeness, samsara and nirvana undivided, the phenomenal world, meeting it at the level of cosmic wholeness, is called Samantabhadra, right? Or Kunta Sangpo in Tibetan. This apparent yidam, or the archetype as the guru within, as the representation of the boundless open wholeness. Yeah, the Dharmakaya. And knowing its potentiality as wisdom and that openness, we call that Rigpa. And by allowing and stabilizing in that, the resonance and expression of that is called the siddhis, the wisdom energies that start flowing from it, from your heart essence into the world. How amazing is that? So he's warning that if you reject conceptuality, rejecting samsara, the world in which we live, then the phenomenal world arises as an enemy, and then now we too much on the open side, the empty side, and it becomes a nihilistic, transcendent state. And remember, these non-dual traditions, Dzogchen in specific, are not transcendence. We metabolize our psychology, cyclic existence, the world, through timeless awareness. And he goes on, one goes beyond calculating in terms of what is meditation and what is not. Yeah? Hear that? One goes beyond calculating in terms of what is meditation and what is not. So the boundaries between meditation and our life dissolve. Right? This is the sublime path that is supremely elevated. Yeah. Here I'll let that resonate for a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's metabolize that. Don't think about it, be about it. Yeah? I'll read another paragraph. It starts so clear. Within this consciousness of immediacy. That is this a pointing out instruction right there. Let's be the consciousness in and of immediacy. Right here. Fresh mind, bright mind. And here he goes. Within this consciousness of immediacy, whatever arises is fresh and naked. So do not manipulate it through contrivance or alteration. With bare attention, rest evenly. Loosen up and relax. And then you can remain comfortably with whatever arises. Dzogchen Rinpoche used to say, from this vantage point, there is nothing you can't handle. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing him. From this openness, there is nothing you can't handle. Yeah. Again, loosen up and relax. And then you can remain comfortably with whatever arises. Then, in the recognition of the arising, rest in the experience of fresh, natural clarity. Without any fixation, remain free of desire, letting your thoughts or emotions naturally release and disperse into their original nature. From this perspective, recognize that whatever thoughts arise, they are free in their own condition. Abiding within this naturally clear state of bliss, clarity and non-conceptuality is meditation. Yeah. Let's take a breath together. Yeah. This consciousness of immediacy. Even the word immediacy is not immediate enough. This consciousness of immediacy. He goes on, at this point, the appropriate behavior is to be free from clinging to internal or external arisings. Yeah? The result is an absence of intentionality. Wow, I thought it was all about intent. Prior to intent even, it just goes by itself. This open freeway of city energies, of compassion and wisdom. The result is an absence of intentionality where you are naturally freed in your own manner. Within this uncreated sphere of reality arises the natural totality of awareness. This natural free state, which is clear and free of any fixations, is the foundation of the freedom of cosmic wholeness. Samantabhadra. Yeah, this is some good stuff, huh? Yeah, stay bright. Stay the consciousness of immediacy. just that, you can walk through your life and just have those words ring, consciousness of immediacy, and you just open up and pop luminously right at the heart of the world. He goes on, there is no need to liberate this primordial nature of awareness, for it has been free from the very beginning. Therefore, just leave this quiet, ordinary state of consciousness in its natural state. Bare awareness, which is naturally free, open and clear, manifests as the three dimensions of being in a totally blissful and fully aware environment where everything exists in the foundational condition of the ultimate dimension of being. Just being in this open consciousness immediacy is the bliss of freedom. Now he really opens it up now. Within this state, there is no need to use remedies to manufacture change, because there is no good or bad. So, practitioners, sharpen your practice of bare awareness, wherein happiness and suffering are equal in the mirror of the mind. This is to speak of all vehicles and the supreme and essential path of the indestructible openness of being. And then it adds Vajrayana. I'm going to read only one more paragraph. In this way, thoroughly cut through whatever thoughts arise at the very time they manifest. And that is that consciousness of immediacy. In that immediacy, at the very time they manifest, you cut through it. It just falls apart upon arising. And you no longer discern a difference between the open, luminous sphere of self-knowing beingness and whatever thoughts or whatever other stuff arises. Then by resting evenly, the essence of bare awareness, which is open and clear, the wisdom transcending all conceptual proliferation, will arise from within, and you will be naturally liberated from the mind of the sensual realm. You will also be released from thoughts of future lives and the four meditative absorptions on form and formless consciousness. This experience of natural clarity, which releases affects on their arising is the river stream of great practice, within which everything is spontaneously and automatically accomplished. Automatically accomplished, by itself arising, by itself liberating, by itself awakening, by itself liberating, by itself becoming enlightened. We don't have so much to do with it. We just sit in the immediacy of consciousness and say thank you. Great fortune. Really, this is not merit-based? I thought it was all merit. I keep hearing that. No. It's just happening. Maybe by sitting in the immediacy of the shining light of consciousness deliberately, it accelerates a little. I'm not sure. But I'm making sure I am as much as I can. Might as well. And it's the bliss of being anyway. I'd rather be with that. Okay. I was kind of deciding that I wasn't going to read this text anymore, because I thought I was getting too technical, and then I found these paragraphs, and they're just amazing, right? Yeah. So we highlight that and do that again one day. Okay, let's take a breath. Do 1 minute of openness so it can resonate. Oh, Ed, I see your hand. 1 moment. And I also want to do the final paragraph still, and then if you have anything to say, that would be great. When Longchenpa sounds in my life, it has a certain specific Longchenpa resonance also in my body and in my energy. I feel that. I can discern that. It's nice to have this antenna in the world and in the boundless sphere of being. Not just as a perceiver, but also as an expression of a expressive potentiality. Yeah, that was great. And you know, I read this on my own, right? Because I tried to read it before we get together. And when I'm with you, it resonates much more profoundly. And there is that sentence that I've learned that I like to say, 2 awarenesses are better than 1, or in this case, 8 awarenesses are better than 1. There's something that happens in the collective where we facilitate as a collective, as a self-liberation team, right? That's why we have groups. So there was an actuality for me in that today. Okay, so now I read that final paragraph. By this virtue, may all beings without exception effortlessly reach the primordial ground. May they become spiritual rulers who spontaneously accomplish the 2 kinds of benefit, dwelling on the level of Samantabhadra without transition or change. In all directions may there be well-being, splendor and wealth, so that everything that is wished for is spontaneously accomplished, as though in a pure realm. May the drum of spiritual teachings resound, and the victory banner of liberation be raised. May the sacred teachings never wane, but spread and flourish. This text, entitled The Precious Treasury of the Basic Space of Phenomena, composed on the slopes of Gangvitokar by a yogin of the most sublime spiritual approach, Longchenpa Freedom, is now completely finished. Good fortune, good fortune, good fortune. Love you very much.